All right. Well, Zachary Jennings here with Metro Weather Watch. Also, I got Tony Mayweather. Yeah, we're gonna be live here for the next few, probably next few good while actually. How it looks as we watch these severe thunderstorms move through the area. Madisonville just got hit pretty hard actually into the Hopkins County area. They took a lot of damage. I was hearing a lot of power outages, including like plenty of 60-mile-per-hour wind gust reports. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right now here in the tri-state currently. But if we go back here toward the Paducah area, I mean, you can see this really violent squall line actually setting up right here. And it's been putting on warnings. It's actually, there's a warning all the way out, pretty much all the way past Calvert City here, all the way to almost to Eddyville. So violent thunderstorms today. Look at the velocity on this, though. You see these really higher shades of green and blue. That's between like 40 and 60 knots, which is, between 50, 60, 70-mile-per-hour winds almost getting pushed out of these storms. So, you're probably seeing at least 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts more than likely out of this storm right here. And possibly at times, I know it actually looked even more impressive when it was a little bit further back. So, I don't know. The storm kind of hit some pretty, well, it's actually not too rural areas because I forgot Cape Girardeau is through here and stuff. But no reports as of yet from this area, but I'm sure there's probably really violent winds. And that's moving off into the direction of, Paducah. It's kind of outside of our area at the time being, but it is going to be making its way into our area, including Princeton, Madisonville, possibly again, even. I know it's going to be a really close call for this northern segment here. But as for the rest of us, though, for the metro area, Evansville, Henderson, Owensboro, we're watching up in here. This is kind of the area we're watching up here towards like St. Louis, and we're just kind of watching for any development up here and also back here as well. We see multiple warnings already popping up back up again. It's going to be a hard thing. It's really hard to say how this is going to play out here. It's definitely taking that dive south slightly at times, but yeah, I think definitely parts of our, especially our southern counties, really need to be watching out. Everybody needs to be watching out if you're in the tri-state, though. Tony, if you want to let you take it over a little bit here.
Right, as Zach was saying, for now it looks like the main severe weather threat is going to be over our western Kentucky counties, as at times significant squall line continues to move to the east southeast. It's beginning to move more to the east. So places that could potentially be affected by this potential significant bow echo, I call it a squall line, but it's actually a bow echo, would be places like Madisonville. They've already got some power outages down there. And actually one of our forecasters, David Fugate, he lives down there and he is currently without power and he's not able to help us out right now. But he is giving us some reports through his cell phone. He has mentioned that they do have some, there are some trees down in parts of Hopkins County. Also, as Zach was saying, we're watching this stuff up here in the St. Louis area. Anything that develops up in that area would affect the Evansville Metro, the Evansville-Owensboro metro areas. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on this northern stuff up here because it could power up. And we are under the PDS severe thunderstorm watch until midnight. And the main focus for looks like right now for at least the next couple of hours are going to be down in our southern counties. And also there's some more development beginning to take place back over Missouri, and some warnings are going out on those storms. And we're also going to have to watch those to potentially move through here later tonight.
Yeah. And like you were saying, everything, just and actually, by the way, real quick, I have this actually in motion right now, and you can see the storm as it was moving through the Madisonville area. Let me switch over to velocity. Actually, we'll put that in motion. You can see the really strong blues, light blues right there, right over Morton's Gap, Madisonville, Earlington, even Hanson up there. That shows those really strong winds as they moved right over Madisonville. So that's the reason for all these reports that we're getting 60 to 65-mile-per-hour winds. And also, I think I also heard a report of some slight damage. Let me look at some of these reports here, and I believe that was actually wind measurement. Small limbs down, they're saying. There's an estimated one. Power outages, of course, throughout Providence. Trees blocking Highway 109 up in Clay, where when it was up there. And then Dixon, there's also reports of limbs down on Highway 41 in Providence and Dixon. And, of course, it's like the same pretty much same roadway. It just another report from that area.
Also, Zach, throughout
Yeah.
throughout Hopkins County, it looks like the entire county took a hit with 60-mile-per-hour winds. They've got 60-mile-per-hour winds
that's
coming in across the county.
Oh yeah. You know, that's never a good thing, because you know that makes for widespread damaging winds and stuff when that happens. You know, get a lot of damage widespread wise too. And that's exactly what we were worried about today. That's, you know, the type of threat we're in, where, you know, entire counties could have some major damage from wind, from severe wind gusts and everything. So,
and
you know, the tornado threat's not as high, but definitely, I think the severe threats from these winds are definitely going to be what we're have to watch.
Also, back over in the St. Louis area,
Were you saying something?
Those storms back in the St. Louis area, they are beginning to power up. A lot of people are probably asking questions and are probably thinking that, oh, we're going to miss it again. We're going to miss it again. Just because we're under a PDS watch, that does not guarantee that any particular area is going to get severe thunderstorms. And also, just because we're under an enhanced or moderate risk, that does not guarantee that your area is going to get a thunderstorm. A lot of people are probably asking, well, how come it's mostly going to the south right now? It's a lot of it has to do with where the stationary front is set up. There were some questions going into this event as to how far south would the stationary front, would it be in the Interstate 64 corridor, or would it be a lot further north? And right now it's right along Interstate 64, and that's why the majority of the storms have more of a southern track.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, right now that's what the models that we've had a lot of disagreement with the last few days. We've been Aaron Metro Weather Watch, I know a lot of us we had a lot of questions with each other and stuff, a lot of talks about it, because we knew there could be that southern shift. At the same time, we knew it could go a complete opposite direction as well and be a really strong eastern shift, go right through the heart of the tri-state. And that's what we're trying to forecast. It makes it really tough when models don't agree. And that's exactly what we're kind of been dealing with, you know, no model agreement at all, really, you know, and that's kind of what we've been needing to get, you know, a significant, you know, that's kind of what you need when you have a severe weather event like this, because it really helps knowing what's going on pretty much. But, you know, sometimes we just got to have to nowcast pretty much like we've been doing today and just hope for the best. And so far, Hopkins County's taking a pretty big hit, and I think we kind of knew for Western Kentucky, you know, especially far Western Kentucky here, we pretty much knew that they were going to be hit pretty significantly. They were, you know, either way, even if it turned south, even if it went, you know, due east, either way, that area was going to get hit pretty significantly. And so far, that's exactly how it's played out. By the way, I'm also switched to the Louisville radar. It might take just a second to download, because I want to get a view on the storm that's in Ohio County currently, in the Hartford to Beaver Dam area. So that is, and actually even there's some little thunderstorms breaking out here in Owensboro where I am at, and I don't know if you hear thunder in the background, but we'll take a look at that. Wow. I don't know if you see that on my screen, Tony. And
yes, I do.
That is really, really strong winds actually moving through Hartford, like just to the north of Hartford in Ohio County. Very violent wind right there. That's something we're going to have to really watch out for. That's going to do a lot of damage if that's, you know, any populated area, and even non-populated, it's going to do a lot of damage to trees. So right there, that's 50 knots. You see these darker blues, that's 60, and it's past over 60 to almost 70 knots of in the velocity getting picked up. That's pretty much winds aloft. Pretty much, this is pretty much the lowest segment we can go on the radar. Is at the so this is, you know, you take down just a little bit off of it, but I mean, more than likely, this is probably definitely over 60-mile-per-hour winds in Ohio County right now. I wouldn't, you know, honestly, I might go as far as almost saying possibly slightly over 70 as well. Looking at that, just seeing, and it's kind of weakened slightly now. Looks like, Yeah, that was a lot. It's a little bit still though 69. So definitely some really strong winds. It has gone down just a tiny bit though, 50 to 60 knots now. So that is a good sign that it is not as significant as it just was when it was over. I probably hit Livermore price reports at a little more for too long. But yeah, that's definitely significant. Also, some hail reports, half-inch hail in Ohio County, and actually right out of Hartford. We'll take a look at the. Let's go to the vertically integrated liquid and see what happened. That's probably from earlier. No, it's actually from new. Let me go to the drive here. Yeah, it's not back enough to where I can really see what happened here. Yeah, that must have happened not too long ago. There's also a 3/4 of an inch in Powder Lake, and that's also back there in Kentucky, just south of this area. So definitely lots of hail reports. You actually see multiple of them up through here. There's one up here toward Litchfield. These start to get out of the area, Elizabethtown. This is kind of out of the tri-state, but still, yeah, you definitely see these storms not only putting down really significant wind, but also large hail. Look at all these 1-inch reports down here from these storms that fired up down there earlier. So, yeah, we're also getting plenty of hail reports along with all these storms out here. The hail report, I think the hail threat should go down slightly though as we start going more into a linear segment, but you still get some really large hail with that. But yeah, these little discrete storms that are out here, though, they can definitely, I'm sure they've been, and clearly they have been dropping some pretty significant hail at times. So if you're out here,
Zach, don't mean to interrupt you. Meteorologist Nathan Kitchens is going to join us momentarily.
All righty. Yeah, that'll be good to hear. So you'll have Nathan with us here just shortly. And by the way, there it is right there, 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, 70, 80. It's actually 72, 80-mile-per-hour wind gust just reported out of this line. So that's going to be just to the east of Cape Girardeau in Illinois, southern Illinois. So there we go. So yeah, that's pretty much confirming what we were worried about going on in that bonus segment that's moving into West Kentucky now as we speak. So yeah, definitely a violent storm going on. We'll switch back over, I guess, now since we kind of covered that. These storms are definitely significant. But I think we're going to start shifting toward this storm more because this is going to be pulling out of the area. We'll just kind of keep an eye on it closely for y'all. I know we have some people in Hartford area. So make sure you kind of just keep an eye out, stay inside. Don't want to be outside in this storm that's moving over your now. The strongest winds, I think, are moving to your north, but there has been some hail reports with that storm. So just try to stay indoors, and that should pass over shortly. But here we go again, though, round 2. Moving into western Kentucky, into our far southwestern counties, and that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, Nathan's going to be joining us probably in about 10 minutes.
All right. So that'll be good. And actually, that's hitting pretty much, that's bearing down on the radar site now, right over the National Weather Service in Paducah, this main line. Let's go and put this, probably have to get some, I'll have to wait a second, let that kind of download everything, all the frames. But we'll put it in motion as soon as we get it all downloaded here, and we'll see just how this is tracking, see if it's continuing to push off to the southeast a little bit, or if it's starting to try to eastward, start to get that eastward push again or something. If it does, it's going to be really bad for the Hopkins County area because they've already been hit really significantly hard and once, and this line's putting out 70-mile-per-hour winds, so they do not need that happen again. That would be not good at all for that area. So let's kind of keep, and there's actually just a 45-mile-per-hour wind gust up here. That's actually just that'll be to the east of St. Louis now. So this part of the line is, even though it doesn't look very significant, it is. I am noticing it's putting out wind. There's wind gust that has been significant. There's a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. I think that was probably from the northern. But still, yeah, this is just, looks like just kind of light rain to moderate rain to heavy rain in spots. But it is putting out some pretty significant winds, even though it's not very violent. That just shows how much ingredients are with this and how much wind is forcing through this and shear and stuff. So definitely impressive to see that out of just, pretty much, you're seeing this. I know it's probably a little bit more significant looking at the radar, but I mean, still you'd be able to see, like you can see, violent thunderstorms through here when they're, powered up, but you're not really seeing that up here, but still seeing pressed. So associated with it.
Hey, Zach, up there near the St. Louis area, just to the northeast, there is a cell that is putting down a lot of lightning.
Yeah, and it's
right there.
Right north of it.
Yeah, right there where that 45-mile-per-hour wind gust is.
Okay, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, so yeah, it just we're outside of the radar site. We're all the way in Paducah, so it's really far away. So you can't really see how significant the thunderstorm is up there without me changing. But for the time being, we're gonna keep an eye on all this stuff. Switch over here, make sure. And you still see some pretty strong winds actually getting picked up on the storm here.
Marion in Crittenden County, Kentucky, at 6:10 p.m. had a wind gust of 64 miles per hour.
Okay, I'm trying to remember Marion. That's going to be, I don't know what that is. I'm trying to find it real quick on the map here. Oh, yeah, here we go, right here. So that's going to be just to the northeast of Paducah. So this also, that's probably associated with that same line that hit Madisonville. Then okay. So yeah, so this storm has long history. Then and it's starting to it's not lining out as much anymore. As you can see, it's the northern side that caused all that damage. It's really kind of falling apart, but the southern side actually still see the southern extent of that powering up pretty good still, and that's actually going to be moving toward the Nashville area. So if we have anybody down in Nashville, you might want to let them know. Probably going to have some severe thunderstorms moving to their area soon as that storm. I think we put it in motion, by the way, too. Let's go ahead and do that, and we'll see just how these directions and oh yeah, look how fast it's moving. Very fast pace.
Some of the speeds.
It's clear.
I'm sorry, Zach. Some of the wind speeds on some of these storms, especially the Bow Echo. That was a significant Bow Echo back there by Paducah. Some of the speeds on these storms were up to 90 miles per hour.
Oh wow! And you can see it just how fast these storms are moving. It's going to come through quick. And I think just looking how fast it's moving, I think it will affect Hopkins County. I think Hopkins County is going to be under the gun once again very shortly. Princeton area again too as well, Crofton all through here, especially pretty much further south you go in Western Kentucky. More under gun you're going to be in this situation. The storm is, it's clearing counties. This is usually, I believe it's about, let me look. It should be, it's about an hour loop. So within an hour, it's cleared pretty much 3 counties within an hour. That's how fast this thing is moving. And these are pretty big counties as well. It's gone from Cape Girardeau, and now it's pushing already through Paducah. We just switched radar sites not even 5 minutes ago. And it was hitting the radar site. So
Christian County, Kentucky, we have some followers in the Christian County, Todd County, Bowling Green area. Christian County, Kentucky, a trailer was blown over, but it was an unoccupied trailer. And also they have trees down blocking some roads.
Oh, wow. So even these front little storms here that are formed, they're definitely causing a lot of damage. Yeah, I guess what we'll do, we'll go ahead and switch radar sites back over just for a second. We'll have to come right back to this one because it's going to be in the county. It'll be on the tri-state within the next 10 minutes, I say. How fast it's moving. It's almost clear Paducah already. We just switched radar sites not that long ago, and it's already through Paducah. So let's go ahead and go into Hartford and Beaver Dam. We're going to check up on that storm for y'all because I know we have a lot of followers in that area. I'm just trying to keep an eye on this line back here because it's moving so fast, and it's moving right through the areas that just got hit very hard. So we're just going to keep an eye on that. And still very strong winds actually forming in the Ohio County area. Looks like there is some hail reports actually starting to show up too. Let's go back to the vertically integrated liquid, and it's actually a 1-inch hail report here. That's okay. There we go. It kind of shows a little bit better. That's going to be just to the south of Whitesville. Actually, that's in Davis County. So that's pretty much right on the county line of Ohio County and Davis County. So if you're in the, I don't know if we have any followers in the Whitesville area. I don't have a lot of family in that area. So if you're watching this stream, definitely kind of keeping out. That storm is definitely trying to power up just on the outskirts of it. I know there's the inner city of Whitesville is probably just getting clipped by this, but the just barely south of it, you follow that road there toward like between Whitesville and Fordsville, you're going to be under the gun there, and likely see some pretty large hail possible. So just keeping an eye out for that. And it actually looks like it's gone away now, so that is a good sign. The hail might be starting to get smaller. If there is, it's probably not an inch big. I'm sure it's probably not an inch, in the size. You usually have to knock that down a good amount. It might show an inch, but usually it's probably more like a quarter inch to half an inch. You almost have to knock it down almost 50 to 75% sometimes when it comes to the hail reports, because they're still not 100% accurate when it comes to those yet, but they are getting pretty close. They're improving as they do radar upgrades and stuff. They're definitely improving. So
Earlier,
we'll see. Like,
I'm sorry, Zach. Earlier,
okay.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, I think that might be. Is the weather radios back up and running, by the way, in the Evansville area?
The Evansville weather radios are still, they still have a bad feed. They're not completely back up. But what I was getting ready to say just real quick, earlier this afternoon and during the late afternoon hours out in the Missouri-Kansas border, they had spotter reports of 4 1/4 inch hail. That's softball size hail.
Oh, wow. So that's pretty violent. And actually, they just issued a warning. They're just excluding now. It's going to be including the Candleton area, Cloverport, Hardinsburg. Yeah, so these areas, they just included the warning now. Let's get an update on that. That just came out. Of course, that's starting the time zones in there. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central Time. That's how long it's going to last till. Yeah, so it looks like it's radar indicated. That's going to be pretty much. It's also going to include, looks like Tell City. Tell City, they're just on the back end of that, actually. You're probably going to be, Tell City's going to be clear of this very shortly. That's probably for those hail reports that are coming in, and also these storms are starting to try to ramp up. Owensboro, so far, they've lucked out. These storms just formed over us, actually. We were kind of the initiation of all these storms, and yeah, so Owensboro, you kind of got lucky on this. Definitely fired up really quickly, so lucky us for the time being, but we'll see how the rest of this night goes. Long night ahead of us. So yeah, it looks like 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail is possible with these storms. And let's take a look at the velocity. Of course, you still got this one down here, and that's going to be, and that's actually moving off to the northeast. Surprisingly, it's actually kind of, these storms are kind of really moving kind of crazy. Let's kind of look at the storm. Yes,
those storms back out over Missouri to the south. To the southwest of St. Louis, those storms are starting to power up.
I know you see it lighting up back here. Look at all these severe thunderstorm warnings firing up back here. So we'll have to definitely watch another line. So, I mean, we could very well be talking about 3 powerful lines moving through, certain parts of the area. That would not be very good. That'll do a lot of damage to that happens. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye on back here as well as that starts going. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy watching all these storms, how crazy they're moving today. I mean, this storm's moving almost due north, almost in a way, through Ohio County. It kind of got sucked up. It's kind of forming. They're all kind of like forming together, these storms that just initiated over Davis County, also the Spencer County area as well. So you're seeing that storm count, and yeah, that's why they're issuing these warnings now, because they see how powerful this one has been, and it's getting sucked up toward northward. So well, definitely this initiates, but luckily that's going to be pushing out of our area, and that's going to be more into Louisville's coverage area at the time it really starts. We'll just have to keep an eye on it as it exits, but I think as that it's about out of our area already. We're pretty much a county away from this being out of the area, so we'll just keep an eye on that.
And apparently, this does not appear to be the main event because of what's going on back here in Missouri.
That's what I'm noticing. Yeah. So we're going to switch back over. We're going to come back to this one. Definitely, I guarantee it's already cleared through Paducah. It's already almost had when we just left. So let's see how it's looking now for us. Just take just a second here.
Yeah, that the Bow Echo that was headed towards Paducah. It did make it through Paducah, but it looks like it was weakening as it went through Whitworth City.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I was kind of wondering maybe that was the radar site doing that more because it was the radar site was getting just hammered, but I'm not really sure exactly. The only way to find out though is once it's clear as a radar site, we'll see how just if it's actually weakened some, or I think it could have been slightly the radar site, but I think it is starting to weaken though. I'll start letting that download again, and then we'll put it in motion to see just how much it's lost. But I do think it is starting to lose a little steam. Just ever so slight, which is good. Definitely a really good sign because these areas, like I said, it's heading right for these areas again, and they don't need it. So, Tony, if you want to take over just a second, I'm going to keep an eye on some of these storms through here. I didn't know if you had anything. By the way, is there any spotter reports or anything like that from any of our spotters or anything? Any updates?
Haven't received any updates for any of our spotters at this time.
Yeah, I don't know if David, I don't know if he's learned anything else about the Madisonville area either. I'm not sure if he's had anything else.
He just messaged me. Let me check real quick.
Okay.
We have another warning coming down.
Yeah, and it's likely it might be that one coming in. Actually, I don't know. We'll see.
David just sent me some pictures of trees down.
Okay, so there's trees down. That's definitely confirmed in Madisonville, in Morton's Gap area. Yeah, that's going to be that warning right there. I could tell. That's going to be the one that's in like the Hardinsburg area and stuff. We'll have to move out of our area shortly.
One of the pictures that David sent me, I believe this may be in his neighborhood. A tree is laying across a house.
Oh, wow. Oh, dang. By the way, they just expanded that warning. They put a mass now. This includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12 counties.
That's a massive blanket.
Yeah, they just put a huge blanket warning for this. That's that line. It's going to include Hardin County in southern Illinois, Muhlenberg County in Kentucky, Corydon County in west Kentucky, Christian County, Caldwell County, McLean County, which is just south of Owensboro. So Owensboro, Davis County is going to be out of this warning. Henderson County is going to be out of this warning. Caldwell County, Trigg County, Hopkins County, Todd County, southwestern Union County, Webster County, and Lyon County. So this does include the Madisonville area. This does include Central City. This does include Hopkinsville, Princeton, Slaughter, Seabury, Clay, Providence, Marion. So once again, these same exact areas that just got hit, are under the gun once again, and go out, I believe, until 7:45 p.m. Central Time. That'll be out. So that'll be out for the next hour. Yeah. So they pretty much put out a warning for the next hour.
When they do that, they mean business.
Oh yeah, they don't do that to mess around. That's our. So this is the time to start preparing, guys, for this, because this is going to be another pretty significant wind gust, more than likely moving through these same areas. So if you're in the Madisonville area, I don't know if you can watch this. I know a lot of power to just do there. This is the time, just kind of buckle down again, once again, and start getting ready. They're giving you almost 45 minutes, an hour warning. So, this is while they're doing it. This is exactly. It's pretty much what they've definitely getting to nowadays. It's awesome being able to see that they're finally able to get this advance of warning. I mean, this is probably one of the best advanced warning I've ever seen. So this is definitely an impressive thunderstorm for them to have enough confidence to do that. So definitely be prepared, and we'll stick it right here until it's all the way through or it weakens. So.
Okay, right. Nathan is getting ready to join us.
Okay, did you send them an invite link, by the way?
Yep.
Okay. So Nathan will be taking care of the rest of this here in just a second. And me and Tony will be in the background. I'll check into Facebook here in a second. I know Tony has been as well. If you have any questions, let us know. Any comments, anything like that, just let us know how it's going. Let us know how the stream's doing as well. It's always good to hear because it's going off my internet right now. I'll probably keep it off my internet for the time being. Does Nathan, is he going to does he have a laptop or something with him, or is he going to just?
I think he's going to, I'll send him the link. He's going to just join right in.
Okay. Yeah, what I'll probably do, I'll just kind of let him guide it. I guess if he does, let's see his radar, and we'll let him share his screen if he's on his tablet or laptop or something. We'll just kind of go by that. We'll see how it goes though. So yeah, we're gonna keep an eye. There's actually there's starting to be some hail reports actually down here. This is actually in the Mayfield area. So this is gonna be out of our area. Luckily, this is gonna go south. This is probably gonna go more into Tennessee and Kentucky, which is outside of the tri-state. But if you're in the Mayfield, Murray area, I don't know if school's still in Murray or not. I'm not really sure. If you are in Murray though, I'm sure there's summer classes going on. So, well, Murray, I might give them the heads up that pretty strong thunderstorm going to be, or severe thunderstorm actually going to be moving to their area with a history of 65 mile per hour wind gust. I was actually recorded not too far back in the same part of the storm, and also probably likely, I say some forward-sized hail more than likely as well.
Also, if any of our followers have had any questions on the page, because I see we've got a lot of notifications. We haven't had a chance to get to those questions, and we will try to get to those questions as soon as we can.
Okay. So let's see how this. We'll just keep on watching this. I think I'm just gonna, for pretty much here on out, we're just gonna keep on. I'm not too concerned up here. I know at this moment, I think get out of the area. Just if you're in the Hardinsville, McQuady, Glendine, Patesville, Cloverport, if you're anywhere in this area, just be on, keep your eyes peeled. I think these is definitely some pretty significant winds up in here and possibly even some hail. So, yeah, definitely keep on your toes and make sure you stay indoors. I think we're going to start really transitioning to the southern part of this line because this is the part that's been very violent at times. 70 mile per hour wind gusts not too long ago. So, and they definitely had enough confidence to put out a blanket warning for pretty much all of West Kentucky except for a few counties, which include a few counties I excluded were like the counties of Morganfield, Henderson, Owensboro. So, we're all gonna get spared for the time being up here. We'll just have to watch what goes on back here and of course up here as well.
Also, again, there's been some power outages in the Hopkins County area. We're not sure as to how widespread those power outages are at this time.
Yeah, we do know at least forecaster David. I know he is without power at this time, so we do know at least. We do know for sure we can 100% guarantee that there is power outages, at least in parts of the area. It could very well be pretty widespread, though, being that it was pretty significant. And I have a strong feeling, I know they might as well just hold off on doing any type of trying to get power back on anywhere in this area, because honestly, I think this line's going to come right back and pretty much do the same thing, unless it turns south the last second. So there's the motion right there. I'm putting it into motion now. This northern part of the line is kind of showing some signs of weakening. It's likely just going through a cycling stage. So definitely don't let your guard down. Because if you just look to the south of it, the very violent part of the thunderstorm here, just on the south side, north side is trying to kind of get a little weaker. But yeah, I would not let your guard down, because these type of lines, especially when they're this violent, and you see they don't look like, you look at the radar. It doesn't look like it's that bad. You go to velocity, and you're seeing 60, 60s, or pretty much 50 to 60 knot winds still. There's actually more impressive winds up here than there is down south, where it looks a lot stronger. So that's exactly what we're talking about. I mean, there's actually significant winds all the way up to Elizabethtown. And really, we probably almost ought to just use velocity, how it's looking, because it's actually showing just how strong the storm is more than the radar is currently. So I may kind of stick it to the velocity a little bit more to kind of tell us how things are looking. Just kind of check. Okay, so I just want to see if that showed anything. Let's go ahead and, you know what, for the fun of it, let's do a little 3D scan and kind of see what these storms look like in the 3D. We'll do a pretty wide scan here, and a lot of, yeah, it's probably the best thing to kind of look at. We're just kind of cut through this storm because it's really a lot of overcast and storms all the way through, so it's gonna be really hard to see here. We're kind of see if maybe I can cut through here somehow. Yeah, it's gonna be real thick, so I don't think we're gonna be able to. We'll do we'll just kind of cut through the storm and just see. And these tops are really high, as you can see, all the way up to 40. 40,000 feet. So that's definitely, it's pretty high tops on these storms as well. We're gonna keep an eye on velocity though, because that's, you know, seeing these lighter shades of blue here and greens, even, you know, and that's definitely impressive to see that at this time. I mean, and it's actually should be starting to show reds more. You can see all these lighter reds through here as well. So definitely really significant winds moving through this area, and we're gonna see how this pans out. I mean, this is moving pretty much right toward once again same areas that just were hit. So yeah, that's pretty significant. Yeah, Tony, I'm putting it in motion right now. I don't know if you can see. Just put all this in motion. You see that, you see the wind fields right now. This is the base velocity.
Oh yeah.
So you can see exactly what we're dealing with, pretty much. I mean, this is definitely. And actually, see when I was reporting, look what it looked when it was reporting just right after that 70-mile-per-hour wind gust came through. This is where the 70-mile-per-hour wind gust came from, and then you see just how violent that looked for a second there. So that definitely, you definitely see why I triggered that. It definitely does. We're not seeing those brighter colors anymore, but definitely some really strong winds. I'd say at least 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, possibly 65, maybe even 70 in spots, but we'll see. I'd say probably 50 to 60 though is more accurate at this time. And that's going to be, it's actually Marion, you're about to be under the gun here. So I know that's a tri-state community that we have. I don't know how many followers you have in the Marion area, but you're about to be under the gun very shortly. The storm is bearing down. It's actually right here. It's kind of getting wrapped in some rain here. A lot of rain's kind of forming around it, but definitely some really significant winds.
Okay, I think I'm here.
You know, I'm noticing on the. There we go. Here's Nathan.
Better late than never.
All righty. Yeah. I was just telling them. Oh yeah. Just telling the followers about this. I'm kind of using because it's really hard to see. Radar, I don't think, is doing a very good job of showing, because you know the radar is showing it. It kind of looks like it's weakening. When you go to velocity, it's still showing pretty significant winds, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds still. So I'm kind of just using velocity at the moment to kind of show, kind of tell how violent these storms are still. And like I said, they're moving through about to move into Marion, Kentucky. Shady Grove will be next in line, and then Madisonville eventually. Morton's Gap once again, which just took a pretty big hit. Providence as well. And so, Nathan, I guess if you want to take it away for a little bit.
Well, sure. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take over here. Whose screen are we sharing, by the way?
This is my screen. Do you have your radar up, or do you have access to it?
Yeah, I've got my radar up actually. So
okay, I can stop sharing and then let you take over.
Sure.
I can do. So, all right, so we'll have a black screen for just a second. It should just be me, and then I'll switch over and let Nathan take over for you. As soon as you share your screen.
All right.
All right, then you want to click present to everyone. I think you are. Okay, you got it. Okay.
All right, great. Okay. Well, all right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you guys for holding the fort the past, 45 minutes with this live stream. Joining in here now, taking a look at the storms that we have going on right now. Take a look at these active severe thunderstorm warnings. And as Zach mentioned, he was using the velocity to kind of gauge the wind speeds with these storms and just the strength of these storms. First off, we'll take a look at this really intense storm that's right now moving through Breckinridge County, Kentucky. It includes the Hardinsburg, Kentucky area right now. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning with this, and this will go until 8 o'clock Eastern or 7 o'clock Central. And a very intense storm. We're seeing some pretty good reflectivity in here, certainly likely seeing some pretty large hail in that as well. I'm going to turn a ZDR on there, and I'm pretty sure we're probably seeing some pretty good hail in that. And the warning is for large hail and wind gust of potentially 60 miles per hour with this storm. And we'll kind of loop this here. And the storm is, of course, moving off to the east-southeast. It's moving through Breckinridge County. We have east-southeast Hancock County in Kentucky as well, and Ohio County, Kentucky, under the warning as well. It looks like that warning section of the warning was actually canceled, but we still have the active warning for this portion of the storm that's now moving through the heart of Breckinridge County, Kentucky. Getting slammed pretty good in Hardin County, which is kind of getting just outside of the tri-state that we cover. Going to be in line for that pretty strong storm. And a lot of just these storms have really congealed here over central Kentucky. posing also a heavy rain threat along with the wind and the hail threat. So let's kind of zoom out and take a look at what's going on right now. Zach was mentioning those storms that are about to push back towards the Madisonville area from the west. Certainly the strongest section of those storms is moving through southwest Kentucky and also northwest Tennessee. This is just a really intense portion of the squall line right now that's pushing through the Mayfield, Kentucky area. You guys got really hit hard with probably some very high winds with this, easily 60, 70 miles per hour. And look here, we actually have a report of 65 mile per hour wind gusts there. They're around Fulton County there in southwest Kentucky. So really strong winds. And we have active severe thunderstorm warnings with this. So it's moving through Graves County. They're in Mayfield. It just pushed through you guys. They're in Murray and Callaway County. Get ready. You're under severe thunderstorm warning for potentially wind gusts up perhaps hurricane force with this. This is a very intense squall line that's going to be pushing through Callaway County right now. And even Trigg County, you're not under warning yet. And also Lyon and Caldwell counties, but you have warnings just off to your west. Or actually, excuse me, I'm sorry, I think I got that wrong. You guys are also under warnings. I'm sorry. Yes, you guys are also under warnings. Correct myself there. And then Madisonville, you guys had a very intense gust there of 60 miles per hour earlier. And yes.
I just got a message from one of our followers down in the Madisonville area. And Carolyn Lear says that they have trees down, power outages, and the window was blown out.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. They had a really intense storm. We have several wind reports here, and also they're just east of Madisonville, also a 60 mile per hour wind gust report right around Central City. They're just north of Greenville, Kentucky. So really intense winds with this. And again, that's just the first round of several here. And we're also tracking the storms off to the west. Thankfully, the most intense portion is, of course, across southwest Kentucky, but that's not to say you won't see, very gusty winds with this as it pushes to the east, getting closer to Madisonville and even Princeton, Kentucky, seeing some pretty good rain coming back your way. Let's go back to the north here. Some pretty good storms going on right now through parts of south central Illinois. Here's I-57. We have Vandalia. You guys are seeing some scattered storms just off to your southeast. No warnings with this, but I tell you what, that's a pretty good looking signature there for some large hail and likely some very gusty winds with this. So this could, pose severe warnings here before long. So that's something we'll have to watch. It's pushing through Fayette County down towards Marion County. They're in Salem, down towards Mount Vernon, Jefferson County. You guys are technically not getting anything too strong right now. We did have a gust there, 45 miles per hour. So again, these are kind of just below the severe criteria. I think this right here, this portion, as it moves to the east. So if you're watching from Louisville, Illinois, Olney, I think I pronounced that right, Olney, Illinois, there in Richland County, you do have storms on your way from the west, and we'll have to watch these to see if they do become a little stronger and more intense as they push to the east. So I'll be watching that as well. And you also just see that, just a massive, very heavy rain. And a little further west, getting out of the range for the radar beam, I know, but we also have more pretty intense storms over south central Missouri. This was an area we certainly were looking at for a very, very intense severe weather outbreak today, and really just verifying pretty much just as we thought, with just a lot of warnings there right now with supercell storms. Now obviously poses a hail, wind, even a tornado threat out that way. But again, here in our local area, I'll go back here, we have many counties here across south central and southern Kentucky there under those severe thunderstorm warnings for high wind. And let me go back to the warning box here. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning for multiple counties: Harding County, southern Illinois, Muhlenberg, Crittington County, Christian, Caldwell, McLean, Trigg, Hopkins, Todd, Union County, the southwest portion of Union County, Webster, and Lyon County. This is technically until 7:45 Central Time. So this warning will be in effect for quite a while. So this means you need to just kind of hunker down. Make sure you aren't going outside trying to look at the storms. Just stay inside, stay under shelter, because remember, lightning's yet alone could be deadly, and you just want to stay inside. And again, the hazard here would be potential for wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. And so just be aware here in these areas. Just kind of hunker down here for a good while as these storms do make their way off to the east. And again, looking at the storm here, really an intense portion of the squall line pushing through Southwest Kentucky, really intense here. Callaway County, I would definitely be, you guys are probably getting hit very hard right now with the very high winds, just rushing in. They're ahead of that heavy rain mass that's going to be coming your way. And even down in Northwest Tennessee, seeing some pretty, or really very intense storms, I should say. So that's really the most intense portion of this. But again, we still have more storms here to the west that just continue to push off to the east. And remember, most of these counties here are under severe thunderstorm warning until another 45 minutes. So just kind of hunker down for a while there. And this a warning out in Breckinridge County, Kentucky, that was actually probably just expired, maybe canceled. That storm looks like it's actually started to weaken a bit as it's kind of moved towards this cooler pool of air, I believe, where the storms have kind of set up throughout the day. And watching from Evansville right now, if you're watching from Evansville and just kind of wondering what to expect over the next few hours, well, right now you're not seeing anything falling right now from the sky in Evansville, but you do have storms and heavy rain off to the west, and this activity will be pushing to the east. And we'll be watching these storms over Illinois as well. Right now they are sub-severe, which is good news, but we'll have to watch as they push towards Clay County, Richland, Wayne. You guys in this area, just be aware they're going to get some heavy rain and lightning with those storms as they do make their way up to the east. Sorry, I zoomed in so far there. And again, I mentioned we also have pretty good storms going on across Missouri. Look at all these orange boxes. That represents severe thunderstorm warnings that are active right now. And so very active weather just continues off to the west. So we'll just kind of have to stay weather aware for the next several hours, obviously, as these storms kind of make their way from Missouri through Illinois and then across western Kentucky as well throughout the rest of the evening hours. And I actually haven't really looked at the short range guidance to see kind of what they're showing over the next several hours. I might bring one up here really quick, if you guys don't mind. Bring up the HWR model. I want to see what it's kind of doing with this over the next couple of hours here. Gonna bring it into closer view as well. And I didn't know if you guys wanted to add anything to what I was saying there.
Right now I'm currently looking at the radar, seeing if we have any more storm reports showing up on the radar.
Yeah.
And so far, there's really no more storm reports at this time.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so quickly looking at okay, this is not the latest run, I'm sorry. Let's get to the latest run of HWR. This one is not in yet, so I'll go to the 22Z run. So looking at the kind of the short range guidance and see what they're kind of showing throughout the rest of the evening. Not doing too bad of a job here at HWR model. So basically, this is where we're at right now, and not doing too bad of a job. And what we're expecting is this massive heavy rain and thunderstorm activity will continue to push off to the east, southeast from Illinois, pushing down across western Kentucky over the next few hours here. And I really also am concerned about heavy rain as well, and possibly some flooding. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that on there, but also going to be tracking, potential for some flash flooding with those storms. And going through the rest of the mid and late evening hours, really going to be targeting, again, West Kentucky, going through, 10, 11, and around midnight. You guys could still be looking at some pretty good rain. So we'll have to watch for some pretty heavy rain in these areas. Again, parts of Indiana, certainly, as all along, we kind of question, just how this would behave as it pushed through the tri-state. And again, Indiana's kind of been spared so far. I don't want to let your guard down completely because of those storms in Illinois. We'll just kind of have to see how they trend as they still push into a rather unstable environment. So I'm going to be interested to seeing what happens with those. But again, the forecast model, by the time we get to 1 a.m. Central, really the severe risk by then should be pretty much winded down. Just some moderate to heavy rain over Kentucky, and the severe weather threat would be down here towards the mid-south as that squall line pushes way off to the south there. And we'll be through with the severe weather after 1 or 2, and we should start to quiet down. Even the rain should come to an end there towards early morning hours on Sunday. And by the time we wake up Sunday, we should be really pretty okay there with not much going on. So going back to the radar picture now, if you guys are just tuning in, wondering what's going on, of course, we had some pretty intense storms push through our Kentucky counties earlier in southern Illinois as well, obviously. We had reports of trees down around Madisonville, multiple reports there that have popped up, those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as that pushed through your area. And right now you are under severe thunderstorm warnings there until 7:45 Central Time. It looks like Webster County and McLean counties were just dropped from that, as it looks like the more intense round is going to be just off to your south. So you can kind of, for now, in Webster and McLean counties, kind of breathe a sigh of relief, as the worst of the severe weather for now with this complex of storms will be to your south. But again, Madisonville area, down to Princeton, all the way down to Hopkinsville. I know we still have some viewers down there as well. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning. And I will say, the further south you are here, the more concerned I would be for more intense winds with this. You can see how this is moving very quickly to the east-southeast. And when you see these pushing through very quickly, it's a good sign we're seeing some strong winds with this as it's pushing through. And the most intense portion is down here. It pushed through Mayfield. You guys really had some rough weather there. We had to report a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust there, kind of on that Fulton and Mississippi County, Illinois line. There and along the Mississippi River, there some really strong winds as that pushed through your area a little bit earlier. And now it's pushing through Murray, Kentucky right now. They're getting under the gun right now for severe weather. And even Trigg County as well. I'm kind of surprised we don't have a warning there, but we'll see. Well, actually, I'm sorry, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning there for Trigg County, and even up towards Lyon County. Some heavy rain and gusty winds right now. And again, the Hopkinsville area as well, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning as well until 7:45. So just kind of hunker down. Don't be going outside. I wouldn't recommend going to the grocery store or going out to eat right now. Just stay home and just kind of stay sheltered and, just be safe. Don't want to be venturing outside while the weather's rough like it's going to be over the next really a couple of hours for you. Really the next 45 minutes as this warning, severe thunderstorm warning, will be in place for you. So the most intense portion, again, is pushing through Callaway County and parts of Marshall County and southern Kentucky. Trigg County, you're also getting hit pretty good right now. And also northwest Tennessee. We probably don't have very many viewers down here, but this is close by. Very intense storms pushing through, Martin, Tennessee, Paris, Tennessee. So just kind of be aware of that if you are watching from all the way down there. And also pretty good storms heading towards Nashville, Tennessee as well. It's a big travel weekend. If you get no friends or family that might be traveling down that way, or maybe they're hanging out in Nashville, just maybe give them a call and just kind of let them know that there's pretty good storms heading their way, and it could produce wind gusts maybe up to 70 miles per hour heading towards north central Tennessee there. But again, let's focus on our area right now. Here in Evansville, it's been right now you're pretty quiet. You're seeing a nice lull in the action right now. Heavy rain off to the west. We're going to watch this as it kind of pushes to the east and southeast, and it's going to continue to pose a pretty good rain threat here throughout Kentucky and southeast Illinois over the next several hours. So we'll likely see some pretty healthy rain totals with this. And looking at some storms here over Illinois right now. These are not severe warned. They've kind of been showing signs of trying to be severe, and then now they've kind of gone back to a less severe look here. Kind of looking at the base velocity as well. Probably seeing some pretty gusty winds. I'm not seeing any signs of rotation or anything within these storms. They're not quite to that criteria, but heavy rain for sure, and some lightning, maybe a little bit of pea-sized hail as it pushes towards Louisville, Illinois. Again, not Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Illinois. They're in Clay County and Albany as well. You're gonna see some hit and miss storms pushing your way as well, and also some heavy rain around St. Louis. And this is kind of weakening a bit as it pushes. This atmosphere is starting to get worked over. We had that round of storms push you earlier, starting to kind of make the atmosphere a little more stable there. So that rain is the storm activity there is kind of lessening in intensity. So that is some good news there.
Hey, Nathan.
Yes.
Just up to the southwest of St. Louis, in the area where they're getting additional development of strong to severe thunderstorms.
Mm-hmm.
A new tornado watch was just issued for southern Missouri and northern Arkansas, and that pretty much verifies that that's majority of that activity is going to dive to the southeast and affect portions of western Kentucky and also down into Tennessee.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So as Tony mentioned, we do have a tornado watch that's being issued down that way. I'm actually going to try to bring that up here. Let's see. First off, we have, of course, the severe thunderstorm watch for our area right now. Going back here, and again, just by the way, if you're just now watching, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight Central Time. For really much of the tri-state. So just, we need to be weather aware. That means conditions are favorable. And obviously we have multiple warnings off to the south and the southern part of our tri-state right now. And again, there's that tornado watch that Tony Merriweather just mentioned. We have that tornado watch for southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. And again, those storms will make a dive to the east, southeast. So western Kentucky, going to need to be on alert for more storms, obviously, as those do push to the southeast. So we'll just have to continue to watch those over the next several hours here. And we have really some pretty intense storms. We have multiple warnings. Southern Missouri was kind of the target area where we thought the most intense storms out of this entire setup would be. And, that's kind of really just the way it's working out right now. And that watch will be in place until 2 a.m. Central Time. So, potential there for a few tornadoes and possibly some intense tornadoes. And, really because these storms are kind of discrete in nature, they're not just like one solid line. Noticed in our area, the storms were more congealed into squall lines and bow echoes. And that means you're going to be more likely to have damaging wind. When you see the storms more discrete in nature, like we're seeing out here, that raises eyebrows for tornado possibilities. And that's why they issued a tornado watch here, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas. I don't know if we have any viewers out that way, but again, even as those storms push to the east, southeast, they will affect parts of western Kentucky, again, going through the nighttime hours. So we'll have to keep an eye on those storms off to the west. Southern Missouri getting rocked pretty good this evening, that is for sure. And I'm going to look at the active warnings. First off, I'm going to see if we have any I'm going to look at some of the storm reports so far today. I've kind of been, out of the loop here for the past few hours. But again, we've already had multiple wind reports here with this event today. All the blue is representative of the wind reports here. You can see how this pushed through Missouri, southern Illinois, western Kentucky. Really pretty much everything working out kind of like we, really forecast all along. We knew this portion right here would kind of be the target zone for that potential for a widespread wind damage event. And we've seen multiple wind, reports here across this area from southern Illinois and western Kentucky this evening, and still active warnings in place there. So far, we've only had one tornado report. That's in southern Missouri. No surprise. I'm sure we're going to see more tornado reports coming in there based on what the radar looks like right now. Unfortunately, we hope that doesn't happen. But I'm sure southern Missouri is going to be seeing some, more tornadic storms developing for the rest of the evening. Also had a lot of hail reports too, even in parts of southern Indiana. Scattered throughout our area, southern Illinois, West Kentucky, we've had some scattered large hail reports as well out there today. So going back to our radar now, real quickly, and again, just give you guys an update of what's going on. We still have these active warnings, although the warning box here has been trimmed a bit. So let's go to the latest radar scan. And the orange boxes that you see here, I'm actually going to take the radar off real quickly so you get a better picture of where these warnings are. Right now, I know when the radar is on, it's kind of hard to see. But again, we still have technically Madisonville, parts of that county there, Hopkins County, part of the northern part of the county has been dropped. As it looks like that portion of the storms will stay below severe limits. And, we noticed those storms weakening a bit on that edge of the squall line. But again, to the south, Madisonville to Hopkinsville, I would not recommend traveling right now in this area. Just stay sheltered in your home or wherever you are in a sturdy structure, as potential is there for wind gusts, up to 70 miles per hour, as the National Weather Service has been hinting at there for this area. And again, that warning's still in place for the next really 30 minutes. So just, kind of hunker down here from Madisonville, Hopkinsville. This does include Hopkins County, Muhlenberg County, Todd, Christian, and Trigg counties, and parts of Caldwell County for the next 30 minutes. And also, I mentioned that, wow, we had a 70-mile-per-hour wind report there in southern, let's see, let me get this radar picture up here. They're just south of Mayfield there. We had a report of 70-mile-per-hour wind. So that is, just goes to show you, we talked about this portion of the line being really intense. And that's almost hurricane force wind. So, we're definitely going to be looking at some damage reports there, I'm sure. Likely some trees down and power outages, I'm sure. And possibly some roof damage as well to homes and businesses. Roofs can get torn off with winds of those levels. So, we'll have to see if we have any damage reports coming in from those areas. But again, Southwest Kentucky really got rocked pretty good. And as we mentioned earlier, we had a report of trees uprooted throughout the Madisonville area. You guys got really plowed pretty good with strong winds that pushed through of 60+ miles per hour that rolled through your area earlier this evening. And again, you're still under warning right now. But I will say these storms are, kind of weakening, a little more on the tamer side there. So maybe more like a 50 to 55 mile per hour gust, in my opinion. But again, to the south of you, potential is there for the ones to be a little bit more intense down that way towards Hopkinsville, and especially off to the south there. And kind of the wider picture now, if you will, give you a look at what's going on. Again, we do have a few storms that have popped up here in Indiana. This area has been kind of untapped here. I'm actually streaming this live from really this area right here is where I'm actually at right now. And there hasn't been any rain where I am today, so this portion of the area has kind of been, it's kind of been untouched, if you will, the atmosphere. So these storms could kind of grow here and could produce some warnings. I wouldn't be shocked as they do roll to the east here. So that's something we'll be watching. Those storms have just kind of popped up in the past 15 minutes here in this area. And again, this portion of the atmosphere is kind of untapped today, so could be enough energy here for these storms to kind of get going and a little bit stronger over the next several minutes. So we'll have to kind of watch that as well. And also the flooding. There's also that flooding concern that we mentioned, and no surprise, we have a flash flood warning for Crawford County, Central Crawford County, Northern Perry County. You guys had several rounds of storms today. You saw up to 3 inches of rain, and additional thunderstorms will be pushing your way overnight. So obviously flooding is going to be that concern as well. And that's exactly why we, if you are out camping or had those plans, that's why we recommended all along to kind of hold off those plans until tomorrow. When the weather is, or tomorrow night, I should say, when the severe weather threat starts to move out, because we'll also have an additional storm threat tomorrow as that cold front pushes through. We'll have to look at some new data and keep you updated on that as well. And looking at the rest of the area right now, there's those scattered storms over Illinois. Thankfully, there's no warnings with this here. These are below severe limits, but some good lightning, heavy rain, enough to kind of catch you off guard. If you have any outdoor activities, you're going to be wanting to go inside. If you live in Clay County, Illinois, they're in Richland, they're in the town of Olney along US 50. Yeah, you're going to see some heavy rain, some lightning. But thankfully, right now, you're not really going to see anything severe in the next, hour or so. And it looks like really for you guys, the best severe chance is going to be off to your south, going through the rest of the overnight hours. And Evansville, you guys are quiet right now. Still some rain off to the west. We don't want to let your guard down yet. Technically, you're still under that severe thunderstorm watch until midnight Central Time. So, we'll just have to watch how things evolve. And we're going to be watching those storms that have developed here over southeast Missouri. And real quickly, I'm actually going to try to change the radar site to St. Louis, because I do want to see how those storms are behaving out there real quickly. I'm going to try to get Missouri on here, and I want to see how those storms are looking there closer to the radar site real quickly, because those are some pretty intense storms there in southern Missouri. So I'll try to let this load for a second here. And look at all these warnings. I mean, we have warnings just all over the place here in southern Missouri. And again, I know I need to focus on our tri-state area, but this will have an effect on parts of the area, especially southwest Kentucky, as these do roll to the east southeast. So especially if you're watching from the Nashville area, even Cape Girardeau, well, definitely Cape Girardeau, no doubt about that. Paducah, Kentucky, some of these areas that got hit pretty good earlier, you're going to be getting hit again, and these could be intense storms. So we're going to have to watch these closely. Just a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings here, almost too many to count. Hail, wind, and again, there is that tornado threat that you guys are under tornado watch out there until 2 a.m. Central, and that's going to be pushing to the east-southeast. And I'll loop this again because I haven't had this radar picture up long. It's not going to show a long loop here, but in the past, 20 minutes, you can see the progress of these storms. They're starting to congeal more here, and these will start to push to the east-southeast. They're not pushing to the south a whole lot, so this does merit that parts of the southern half of the area will we'll have to be on guard for those storms as they do make a run kind of to the east southeast over the next several hours. So going back to the going back to the Evansville radar site now, I want to kind of show you those storms to our west. And now let's go back to our area. I'm going to go back to Indiana here, Evansville, and we'll take a look at our latest radar scan and some changes here to that severe thunderstorm warning over southern Kentucky. So we have some good news right now if you're just watching. Madisonville, all clear as far as the severe thunderstorm warning. You're just going to see some rain pushing through. The storms have weakened some in your area because of that initial round of storms that pushed through earlier. Kind of working the atmosphere up a bit there. You guys had some really strong winds earlier, no doubt about that. And also a hail report there in Hartford County, or excuse me, the city of Hartford, there in Ohio County, had about a half-inch diameter hail. That was about, looks like that was about, about an hour ago, actually, when that report came in there. Storms pushed through that area. And also, we had a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust report there in Linville. That's, excuse me, not Indiana. We have a Linville, Indiana, I know, but that's actually in Linville, Kentucky, there in Graves County. That's down there in southern Graves County. Very strong winds. I'm sure we're going to have some damage here, no doubt. When you get winds of that strength, you're going to get trees down, you're going to get roof damage, you're going to get power outages. I mean, that's pretty much a given. You're seeing winds like that, and that's pushing through the northwest portion of Tennessee. So, it's a travel weekend. If you know people that are, your friends or family, maybe they've traveled down here towards parts of Tennessee, maybe they're not watching the weather, give them a call and just let them know that they're seeing some severe weather down that way. Even down towards Nashville as well, being hit pretty good with some storms. And again, that active warning right now technically is off to the south of Madisonville now. Hopkinsville and Kentucky, there in Christian County. You're going to be under that warning for the next, really the next 20 minutes or so as those storms do push through your area. I will say the most intense portion is going to be to your south. So we're likely going to see that warning there trimmed a little bit more. So Hopkinsville, you're going to kind of miss the worst of this next round that's pushing through right now. And again, looking at the rest of the area, we do have those storms that are developing here over parts of Indiana. Let's kind of zoom in here and take a look at this. Kind of take a look at the loop of the past several minutes. These are not severe at the moment. Some heavy rain, some lightning. I wouldn't rule out some hail as well. Just kind of have to watch how these evolve over the next few minutes here, see if they can kind of strengthen it all. But parts of southern Daviess, Martin, there, and then into DuBois County, parts of Jasper, Indiana, going to be seeing some rain and some thunderstorms. Those will be pushing to the east towards French Lick, Paoli, there in Orange County, DuBois, there in DuBois County. I know it's kind of repetitive there, but DuBois is a small town there in DuBois County. But anyway, kind of spanning out here, we had heavy rain in this area earlier, and that did prompt a flash flood warning for southern Crawford and northern Perry County and central Perry County as well. You guys had up to 3 inches of rain this afternoon, and the storms kind of trained over your area and just repeated themselves. So just be on alert there. Some of those creeks and streams could be over their banks after all that rain. Avoid any flooded roadways you may encounter. It's almost nighttime now, so you just want to be on extra alert, and just be careful and make sure you don't drive through any roadways that are flooded, because obviously, especially at night, you can't tell how deep that water is. Countless times people will test their nerves and just drive through it, and then they end up getting stuck, and then emergency people have to come out and obviously come to the rescue, and you're putting their lives in danger as well. So that's why you just want to avoid flooded roads altogether, obviously. Just be careful out there. And the rest of the area right now, Evansville, you're still quiet right now. We're going to be watching these storms over Illinois, a few cells here around Clay County, down into northwest Wayne County. Not severe, just some heavy rain, heavy downpours of rain, some lightning. So if you live in this area, just plan on some heavy rain and lightning. Just be weather aware for the potential. We'll have to watch if these can get any stronger, but they're not showing much of a strengthening signal right now. And off to the west here, just some moderate to heavy rain pushing through southwest Illinois. So right now, our area is kind of seeing a little bit of a break in the most intense storm action, if you will. But we're also going to be watching, as Tony mentioned earlier, we have that tornado watch over southern Missouri, northern Arkansas. These storms are coming together out here. It'll kind of get gelled together, push to the east-southeast, so west Kentucky and southern Illinois, Cape Girardeau, Paducah, even perhaps Madisonville, Kentucky. Just be on alert there that you're going to be seeing more storms to your west. You're not done with this yet, and I think this is going to possibly become even more of a heavy rain threat as well. We can't forget that, because you're going to be seeing some pretty good amounts of rain in a short period of time, and that clearly can lead to flooding concerns. So going back to the short-range models again, I'm actually going to try to go to Tropical Tidbits, because this uses the composite reflectivity on pivotal weather, and I know sometimes it can kind of look a little overdone. So I'm going to go here to tropicaltidbits.com. Great website here for anybody who wants to look at models for free. A great website to do that. You can actually bring this up on your own computer at home if you want to. So anyway, looking at the short range models, pretty much where we are right now, not doing too bad of a job there with those storms over the area, kind of pushing into more of a heavy rain threat there right now, as we can see. But again, those storms over Missouri, they'll kind of congeal here back into more of that linear squall line mode and bow echo, if you will. And that's obviously going to lead to an increasing chance for damaging wind through southeast Missouri. It looks like our area over the next, couple of hours, we may not see a whole lot in terms of warnings, but we still want to stay weather aware for what's going to happen with these storms. Weather is weather, and we just have to watch how these evolve and how they track. I think especially southwest Kentucky, extreme southern Illinois. If you're watching from those areas, that's where I would really be on alert here for the next, really the next several hours, as it's going to be pushing your way. And that squall line, that bow echo here pushes back into, some of the areas that got hit earlier. I mentioned, going back to the radar, we had that report of 70-mile-per-hour winds there in Graves County. And that's an area that I would be watching closely for another round of significant wind potential as this next round of storms pushes your way. So you guys are going to get, we've already had 1 or 2 rounds, and here we go again with another round of storms there as we get towards 10, 11 o'clock tonight. So you're going to be getting hit again. And then once that intense portion pushes through, you get this potential for high winds there in that area, northwest Tennessee, southwest Kentucky, southeast Missouri, extreme southern Illinois as well. But then once that pushes through, we'll still have that heavy rain threat. You can see how the rain just kind of sets up here over the next several hours through midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. Then by the time we get to about 3 a.m., we're definitely going to be in all clear here, as any severe weather will push down into parts of the mid-south there. And we'll be looking at quieter weather going into tomorrow morning. But again, also real quickly, while we're live, I might as well just kind of take a look at tomorrow's potential as well. Going to go to the NAM model, the high-res version, and we're going to take a look at what we are kind of expecting for tomorrow. So we'll likely start today pretty quiet. Obviously, our atmosphere is going to be pretty worked over after all those storms tonight, and we're going to be seeing a break tomorrow morning. So that'll be good if you have outdoor plans. But as we go through today, we're going to have this cold front pushing east towards the area later in the afternoon, and that could spark off additional storms. Could see some of these become strong and severe during the afternoon. So it's not just tonight that we're watching. Obviously tonight's threat is much greater versus tomorrow's as far as the potential for widespread severe weather. But obviously tomorrow we still have that chance. And I'm going to go back to the Storm Prediction Center map real quick. Take a look at the day 2 outlook. I don't know what I brought up there. Let's go back to the convective outlook. Okay, and looking at tomorrow's outlook, technically we were trimmed back there to a marginal risk. The slight risk was shifted more into central and eastern Kentucky and southeast Indiana. So our area has been kind of trimmed back there to a marginal risk. So that is good news for Sunday. We still could see some stronger storms that could approach severe limits. So, still, if you have outdoor plans, just be weather aware for the potential of some, lightning, heavy rain. Lightning alone can be a major weather hazard. People outside, you don't want to be caught outside when there's lightning. And even if the storm's not right over you, you can still get struck by lightning. Sometimes you got those boat out of the blue, if you will. People don't realize that even if the storm's a little bit of ways, you can still get struck by lightning. So that's why you just want to be on alert. People out cooking out, if you're camping, just kind of be aware. I think a good part of tomorrow will be a pretty decent day, But again, if you get hit by one of these storms, lightning, heavy rain, could see a little bit of small hail, some gusty winds. But again, the severe threat tomorrow is not, compared to today, is not as concerning for sure. And again, right now, I would really emphasize, if you're watching from Indiana, I can't completely say there's no way you're going to get severe weather, but at least you are definitely looking a little bit better here. As all along, we've kind of had some uncertainty for you guys. And looking at the Storm Prediction Center map, technically, we still have the enhanced to moderate risk here. So I do not want to let you get your guard down yet here, because we still have some storms refiring here. So we're just going to have to watch how all this evolves over the next few hours here. So again, oh yes.
Hey, pull up the surface analysis map, because I was bombarded with a few questions in my personal inbox earlier as to why were the storms taking more of a southern track. And I explained it was basically where the then stationary front, which is now I believe a warm front, it's basically how that is set up
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the meso analysis here. I meant to bring that up, and I didn't have it up before I started this, but yeah, I wanted to take a look at that. That's obviously a really good thing to use to kind of see what's going on in the atmosphere, to just kind of see where those storms will be heading and why they would make that southeast dive. I know a lot of people are probably wondering why the storms, why they kind of took that southeast dive as they pushed through the area. And all along, we kind of mentioned that potential there. And I'm going to go quickly to, this is kind of a surface pressure map. And let's go to, first off, I want to get on to the Cape as well. Obviously, we've had a lot of energy in in the atmosphere today, that's for sure. And the storms here that have popped up or to move through the area, those storms, we call those mesoscale convective systems, if you will, that kind of congeal here. And they want to push, they're going to naturally push where the greater energy is and instability. And naturally, you're going to get that southeast dive there as they push towards the higher dew points and higher energy. And that's what we've been seeing taking place throughout the evening. We've had this boundary, as Tony mentioned, that's been draped across the area, pushing along that. That's kind of been the train tracks, if you will, for those storms. And I don't know if I can bring another thing up here. It's been a while since I've actually gone through this. But anyway, I wanted to also bring up I like to bring up the Weather Prediction Center front map. It gives you another look at things here, what's going on. Well, actually, no, I'll go back. I'm actually going to go to the College of DuPage website. They have a really good surface analysis, and I think that'll be a good way to look at this. Analysis data. I like to look at their surface maps here. Let's see if I can bring it up. Surface main. Okay, there we go. Yeah, here's a look at the surface map right now. We have technically the boundary is setting up just north. We have a warm front, so we are in the obviously very unstable atmosphere. We have a ton of moisture out there. If you've stepped outside, very muggy. Things you need for storms, you obviously need energy, and that comes from a warm, moist air at the surface, the warm air and that moisture. You combine that with something happening aloft, and that would be cooler air aloft and also a lot of wind aloft, and that's what triggers severe weather. Actually, I'm kind of geeking out here for a moment, but a few days ago when I was doing one of my videos, I mentioned, if we get warm air and moisture at the surface, then that means we're gonna get severe weather. Well, I wanted to mention something there. If you think about Florida, every day in the summer they have warm air. Obviously, they have a warm, moist air mass in place, but that doesn't mean they get severe weather. And the reason why that is because their atmosphere down there is warm from the surface. It's warm aloft as well, so you don't have that sharp cooling as you go up in the atmosphere. And obviously, as the parcels of air rise, they're not getting as buoyant and not rising as rapidly. So that's why you don't get the severe weather, per se, down in Florida during the summer as often. You just generally get the heavy rain and lightning. But something cool I wanted to bring up here. Let's see if I can find it. I wanted to bring up the mid-level lapse rates real quickly. This kind of gives a good look at how unstable our atmosphere is. And you'll notice these brighter colors. That kind of represents where we have more of a sharper temperature change with height. And I think technically, in a perfect, usually on an average, the temperature change with height will be like 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. And we have values here of like 8 and even 9 degrees Celsius per kilometer. And that means we have a very steep temperature change with height. And that's what helps those storms, those parcels of air that rise rapidly, those updrafts to grow very strong and very high up. And that's how you get those strong storms. And bring up a sounding as well. It'll load here. It may not load for a moment there, but I want to kind of show a sounding and take a look at that. Again, you'll see this here, a pretty good amount of cooling as you go up in the atmosphere. You don't just have a warm, you have that cooling happening aloft. It's the west wind that's pushing in some drier and obviously cooler air in the mid and upper layers of the atmosphere. And that helps the instability. So you've got warm, moist air here, and then you've got the cooling up here. So as parcels of air are rising here, you've got potential here for those parcels to rise very quickly. This is the Cape region. The air parcels are warmer than the environment. And obviously, the further your air parcel is from the environment, the warmer it is, the faster it's going to rise. So the further away it is from the red line, if you will, the more unstable it is, the more rapidly it's going to rise, and the more Cape you have. And this is kind of a technically you would kind of call this a skinny cape sounding, if you will, where you have kind of a skinny but yet a very large portion of the atmosphere that's unstable, where the parcels are very warmer and buoyant, than than the environment. So anyway, I hope that made some sense. I don't know, I'm kind of geeking out there, but anyway, looking at the radar right now, those storms, they pushed through Madisonville earlier. You guys had a report of some downed trees and some damage there. We had a report of 70-mile-per-hour winds just off to the south. I know technically this is just south of what our coverage area, but I know we have followers probably down even this far as well, possibly. And perhaps you have family or friends down here. This area got hit pretty good, so I'd give them a call and just see, hey, are you okay? Make sure they didn't have any damage from these storms, because you guys down there around Mayfield, Paducah as well, Princeton, Hopkinsville, especially those areas and points to the south, you guys got hit pretty good. So, obviously want to kind of check on your friends down there and make sure they're all okay. But you guys, you did have a severe thunderstorm warning, and it looks like this still includes Christian County and Todd County. So you guys still need to kind of be on alert. But it looks like the more intense portion of the line is off to the south now over Tennessee. So that is some good news. So we're kind of getting a break right now, if you will, in terms of active severe weather warnings. We're watching what's happening to the west out across portions of Missouri. There's a tornado warning now there. Let's see where this is at. This is actually, I don't know if you guys know where Mountain Grove is, Missouri. That's in northeast Douglas County and northwest Hallwell County. If you have family or friends out that way, it's a big travel weekend, you might have friends or family traveling that way. Make sure they are aware that there's some very serious storms that way. Potential for a tornado and $half-dollar-sized hail with that storm right there in parts of southern Missouri. Very intense cell there. And parts of, again, as I mentioned, parts of Douglas County under that tornado warning there, but also Reynolds County, and you have another cell here down around Carter County. Those are really nasty looking storms with large hail, likely 1-2+ inches in diameter. Those are the type of storms you can get, golf ball, baseball, maybe softball size hail. And those storms to our west there will be kind of congealing there and pushing to the east southeast. So that means portions of southwest Kentucky and extreme southern Illinois. Still going to need to be on alert there as those storms push to the east. And I know I've been kind of still in the the show here the past several minutes, but Tony, I didn't know if you wanted to add anything to what I've kind of.
I'm kind of looking at the stuff over southern Illinois. I'm beginning to think that I'm going out on a limb and saying this and not guaranteeing it, but it looks like the metro area may pretty much get spared because the stuff over southern Illinois is something breaking up somewhat. It's drying up.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I really like the trends for Evansville. It looks like really, we'll have to see what happens here, but it looks like greater severe risk is going to be taking shape. We have those storms here pushing to the east, but those aren't severe, and they're going to stay to the north. This portion of the, the storms here, it's been weakening, and I'm not sure how it's going to take shape as it moves to the east. And those storms over Missouri, it looks like those are going to kind of take a southeast dive. So I tell you about Evansville, we may, really, once again, be spared here from what could have been a much different story today. But, I want to show you guys another look at the short-range models real quickly. Go back to the HRRR model. Go back to yeah.
I think I think it might have froze actually because it's still in the sounding from like a few minutes ago.
Oh no.
Yeah, you may have to stop sharing the reshare.
Okay. Let's see. Not sure why I did that, but okay, let's see if I can get it back up here. Okay. All right, let's see if it's working. So is the screen shared now?
Not at this time. It's actually still frozen up for some reason. It's still not sounding.
It's sharing on my end.
Oh, that's strange. But
yeah, yeah, it's not good because I think mine is the one that's streaming to the channel. Could be mine. I don't know.
So is it still froze on that sounding?
Yeah, it's still stuck on the sound.
That's odd.
Here, hang on. Let me try this.
That was weird because it was showing on my end and froze on another end.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know. It's now blacked out. I don't know what's going on.
Blacked out.
Yeah. I changed. I tried to change from screens or whatever. So you try to present again.
Yeah, let's try this.
See if it pops back up here. Good news is our severe weather threats slowly but surely.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. That's good news.
Yeah, really. I mean, based off what could have happened today, yeah, it looks like our severe threat really across most of the counties we cover is really looking pretty low, I'd say. Southwest Kentucky obviously is going to have a much better chance with those storms over Missouri, but looks like we kind of are going to be spared here. Much of the tri-state, it looks like. So yeah, that's some really good news. Okay, I don't know if screen sharing. I think it's still black, isn't it?
Yeah, we're blacked out still.
I don't know what.
Good news is, luckily, I'm guessing the good news is for that we don't have to worry about it too much at the moment.
Right. Yeah. There's no active warnings locally, so.
Yeah. So that's the good news that at least it happened now when everything is outside of the area.
Right. Yeah.
We have a lot of thunderstorm lovers out there too, and the only thing we can say is we must have a dome over us.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting ready. I was just waiting until somebody said something about the dome. Yeah, I know. There is definitely something.
And I'll set to Tony.
We will eventually get our fair share. Just hang in there.
You know, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Like all along, I had concerns that this would happen, that it would like make that southeast dive, and like last night I mentioned in a video that I said this is a really complex forecast. I don't know how this is gonna shape up for the whole area, and really looks like we've got spared. And really that's good news, because I mean, if everything would have set up just right, we could have got blasted. I mean, really blasted hard. So, really, I think we're lucky here. But it's still early. I mean, it's late May. We got all summer, obviously, and I'm sure we will have more severe weather at the track here through the month of June. No, for sure. I mean, even through the summer, always can get those severe potential there, especially in June when you still got some of that wind energy with jet stream and stuff. So we'll have to see how that plays out. It's been such a weird spring anyway. Like, it seems like everything's out of what usually happens. Everything's kind of out of whack. So, I don't know.
It kind of feels like 2012 kind of in a way.
Yeah.
Different pattern, but it kind of feels like that. We had a real big event first start of the year, and then
I'm beginning to agree with Zach. 2017, all in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like I was telling Tony earlier, I said 2017's motto: anything that can screw the metro out of getting storms will screw the metro out of getting storms.
Oh yeah. Happens every time. Every time. Never fails.
We couldn't buy snow in the winter, and we can barely buy a storm in spring.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Too moderate risk.
I should have. Hey, when I was in college, I should have done a research paper on why storms always miss the tri-state. Aliens or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what? It always centralizes over Evansville, and Tony lives in Evansville, so we'll just blame Tony for now.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Right.
I think I jinxed us because I'm off with a knee injury until the end of July, so I think I jinxed us.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, we're not gonna have any severe weather then. Yeah.
We had a pattern going here. We had a pattern going this spring that I took off every time we had a decent severe threat, and nothing happened. But when I went to work, different parts of the tri-state had some severe weather. So here I am. I'm at home. I'm off until the end of July because of my knee, and nothing happened in the metro area.
There we go.
Yeah, it's all in the beginning.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens in June. It looks like it's going to be still kind of an active pattern. I'm sure we'll have more severe weather to track and go through. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I know one thing. It's been fun doing these live streams. Hopefully, I can get out in the field more, and
yeah,
hopefully one of these times we can. As soon as I get my car in my possession, I know we're kind of having to share my vehicle currently.
Yeah.
As soon as I get it back in my possession, I'll be out in the field and hopefully getting some instead of just radar shots for you, I'll be getting live shots from the field of storms coming in. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Actually, I have an SUV now that I could, you know, I know I live just outside of the tri-state, but you know, I'm always down in southern Indiana and stuff, and you know, maybe sometime I could do some live stream as well with severe weather. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I've got an SUV now that actually runs, so four-wheel drive. So
There we go.
yep.
Also, while we're live,
Well, definitely.
I want to say that we want to thank everyone for trusting us and following us, and we're doing everything we can to make even more improvements to the page. Just keep hanging in there with us, and
Yes.
we have a lot more improvements coming to the page.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we every day. I mean, we're tracking. You know, Tony, you, and me, and Zach, and David. We're always, you know, looking at the model runs. We're up all day, all night, just keeping you guys on alert. And you know, it's past several days we've been really busy tracking the severe weather threat. We all along we mentioned, you know, there were uncertainties in this, no guarantees. We just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up on what could happen, and obviously we had a severe weather event happen today. Obviously, you know, a little further to the south over Kentucky, you guys still got hit pretty good with multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. And obviously, we had wind gusts there through Madisonville of 60 miles per hour and even 70 miles per hour there around Mayfield. So, I mean, still some intense storms. You know, we really are fortunate that a good part of the tri-state was spared from the more intense storms today. So.
Also, I want to say that a lot of times social media will get the finger. I can't even talk right. We'll get the finger pointed directly at them for a lot of people like to say that social media likes to hype up severe weather events. Actually,
yeah,
especially this event right here, this was not hyped up. We were basically feeding you what the models were showing us. A significant event was setting up, and it just so happens that this is just one of those events where, hey, somebody had to miss out.
Exactly. Yeah, I knew, you know, I knew bus potential was there with this. You know, there's always going to be bus potential. I mean, it never fails. People think, you know, oh, these people don't know anything because, you know, they act like it's going to be severe weather and then they're here in our backyard, nothing happened. But, you know, the thing is, if you look at the wider picture, you have to understand how complex these things are and understand that, you know, the severe event has definitely unfolded today. There's no doubt about that. But here in our local tri-state, you know, we've been pretty spared here today, and all week, you know, we've just it isn't hype. Like as Tony mentioned, we aren't hyping things. You know, that's our only goal is to prepare you guys. You know, I think people would much rather have a alert and just be prepared on what could happen, rather than not being prepared and not having the information that you need. You know, in case things could have gone a lot different today. But
right, and when the models don't agree, that does not help us.
Yeah, you know, the models would go back and forth. You'd have one model run come in, it showed this bow echo squall line, you know, tracking right across the heart of the area. Next run would come in, showing it going south of the area. And I mean, it just was every run was just showing something a little different. So there was never like that really good confidence, like exactly how this was going to unfold. And all along, we had the idea that, you know, parts of Indiana, especially, that's where I had the most concern that, you know, there wouldn't be a whole lot that would happen with this event because that complex of storms, I knew there was going to be that southward dive that's going to dive to the higher dew points and that higher energy, and didn't know exactly when and how that was going to happen. But, you know, obviously it definitely took that southward dive through southern Illinois and Kentucky and really spared the area.
A tornado warning just went up south of Carter. You know, in Missouri. That is a very powerful storm.
Ooh, yeah, that is a really intense storm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens when that pushes, you know, into West Kentucky. That area is kind of, you know, the atmosphere has worked over some from the storms that have pushed through. So I don't know how this is going to maintain, but this is such an intense storm right here. Yeah, southern Carter County, that tornado warning. I mean, we're probably talking hail. I mean, could be looking at like 2-inch diameter hail. Damage to vehicles will be likely. This isn't too far from Poplar Bluff. If you're watching, there in Butler County, Illinois, just to your west, you've got a really intense storm. So there, it looks like, especially the north side of Poplar Bluff, it's going to get blasted really good, and even a possible tornado with that storm as well. In fact, I'll actually switch to radar sight here, and we'll take a look at that storm. using the St. Louis. I think that would, no, actually maybe the Paducah radar would be closer. I might actually try the Paducah radar
Yeah.
site.
Yeah, you're still blacked out.
Oh, I'm still blacked out. Go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually on the
Yeah,
radar.
it's taking it back.
I
You're still
forgot.
showing on. You're still showing on my side though. That's weird.
That is weird. Yeah, even on I go to our main hangout thing, it just shows me black. So I don't know what that means, but weird. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, is my audio still good at least?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the main thing, right? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, here's this intense storm that we were talking about. This is in Paducah, Kentucky, using I can't speak, the Paducah radar site. Yeah, very intense storm. I mean, when you see reflectivities, when you start seeing that white and even that gray, yeah, you don't want to see that because that just means we're probably looking at some extreme. I mean, this storm has a huge. In fact, I forgot. I can actually look at the storm and kind of take a look at the structure here. Let me see if I can do this. Take a cross section of the storm and take a look there. Yeah, very intense storm, very strong updraft here with the storm. That's associated with the storm over Carter County. Very, very strong updrafts with this storm right now, and very tall, cold cloud tops pushing through with the storm. And right now we have potential for some very large hail, a possible tornado. A tornado would probably be right in this area. Let me get to the base velocity, and yeah, you can definitely see some of those some of the rotation showing up right there. Oh, excuse me, the turning of the winds there. You got winds coming towards and away from the radar site, and where that happens in a tight cluster. I mean, this isn't like, you know, the most tight clustered I've ever seen by any means, but it's still a very intense storm by all measures. You know, still very large hail and a possible tornado there in Grandin, Missouri. Again, that's going to be pushing towards, you know, probably a lot of rural areas there, but eventually it's going to be moving towards there in Romberg there, and just the north side of Poplar Bluff. But Poplar Bluff will be a close call at this time, so you need to be on alert there if you've got friends or family out that way. Very intense storm pushing through that area, and that's just one of many storms that are really intense here. We have more tornado warnings off to the west there, kind of getting outside of the radar, out of the radar site there. But anyway, another very intense storm there in Hallwell County. We have tornado warnings with that storm. Large hail possible. So obviously we have a tornado watch in this area until 2 a.m. Central Time. A good call from the Storm Prediction Center because of the potential for tornadic supercells here that we're seeing right now. And the storm over Carter County, Missouri is really intense right now. Really intense. Again, I'm sure, let me get back to the velocity. We might actually see some increased rotation there a little bit. Still some rotation definitely showing up in this area of the storm, and likely some extremely large hail. I don't know if does the GR2 analyst, does it have the vertically integrated liquid? I don't know.
Yeah, it does. It's under if you go
I see now. There we go.
drive, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I'm on it now. Wow. Yeah, definitely very large hail. I mean, very large hail with the storm for sure, dropping out of the storm. So they're just south of Elsinore. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Elsinore, I think is the way it's pronounced. And Grandin, just on the north side of Grandin, very intense storm. Pushing to the east, Poplar Bluff going to be a close call. Williamsville, then off to the east. And obviously, we're going to have to track these storms because they are making that move towards southwest Kentucky. So watching us towards southeast Missouri there in Sikeston, Benton, Cape Girardeau even. Technically, you guys are there in Cape Girardeau. You have some pretty good storms pushing through right now, but off to your west, you have a pretty good hail core that could push through Cape Girardeau. So that area really needs to be on alert there. The far southern tip of Illinois and certainly southwest Kentucky here. Fulton, Hickman, Carlisle, Ballard, McCracken County, Graves County, Marshall, Galloway counties. You guys really need to be on alert there. As these storms push out of southeast Missouri and into southwest Kentucky, those are very intense storms, and they need to be watched really closely as they do make that east-southeast dive. Lose my voice a little bit over the next really couple of hours, so we'll have to watch those closely. But again, if you're watching us from the local area, again, we've been spared pretty good here throughout the evening hours. We have, let me switch to radar site now. I'm actually way out of range there. I'm going to go back to the Evansville radar site here, and we'll take a closer look at our local area. Again, right now we aren't seeing a whole lot going on, and let the radar load there for a second. We still have this flash flood warning over parts of Crawford and Perry County in southern Indiana. You guys had up to 3 inches of rain today, and even parts of Kentucky had some heavy rain as well. So, just be on alert there for potential of some water over the roadways. And in fact, where I am right now, there's a storm trying to push in. Let me look at the radar. This isn't severe or anything, but it is, some heavy rain, some lightning, but it's not a severe storm. I'm actually like right here, so I'll probably get a little bit of I'm looking outside right now. It's a little bit dark out there, so looks like we're gonna get some rain or something here in the next few minutes. But off to the west over Olney again. Okay, Olney. Actually, it's funny. I was doing a live update a few weeks ago, and somebody from Olney said it's pronounced Olney. They used to pronounce it Olney too. So now I know to pronounce it Olney. So yeah, Olney, Illinois. You're gonna be seeing some rain and some lightning heading your way. But again, no active warnings right now within the tri-state. So that is some great news. We'll be tracking those storms over southeast Missouri as they do make that dive to the east-southeast, far southern Illinois, especially southwest Kentucky. Just be on alert for those storms that are going to be pushing off to the east over the next few hours here. And going back to the, let's go back to the H2BAR model again, just kind of time it out. So the storms over southeast Missouri. It looks like this model is kind of overdoing things a little bit over our area right now, but overall not too bad. These storms probably congeal back to more of that squall line and bow echo kind of signature by the time we get to 10, 11 o'clock tonight. So that will be pushing back into southwest Kentucky, northwest Tennessee. And I think in our tri-state area, though, I think the most intense of these storms, I think technically would go just south of our coverage area. So that is some good news. I don't know if you guys probably agree with me there based on the movement of this so far, and kind of the idea that our atmosphere has been kind of stirred up pretty good after all this storm activity pushed through earlier this evening. And, going through the short range model, you can see those storms, southwest Kentucky, again, northwest Tennessee, and then they push off to the southeast beyond that. And we'll see some more pockets of rain through just after midnight. And then we'll see a nice break in the action with drier weather there in the pre-dawn and early morning hours tomorrow. So, I think we can probably, I don't know if you guys want to wrap things up yet, but given that we're not seeing any active warnings, I don't know if you want to.
I think your warning.
Okay. Yeah, so but we want to, of course, thank you guys for tuning in with us this evening and bearing with us as these storms push through. Thank you for your reports. And obviously, we know parts of southern Kentucky really got rocked good with those high winds this evening with some of those storms. And hopefully, I know you guys have experienced any damage, but of course, always feel free to send us any pictures of any damage you may have in your area, or just kind of let us know what you're seeing in your area throughout the rest of the evening. And, if you guys don't want to add anything else, I guess we can kind of go ahead and kind of wrap up this live stream here.
Yeah, I think we're good. Just keep an eye to the sky just in case, especially down over western Kentucky.
Yeah, we mentioned that several times that we do need to keep an eye there on southwest Kentucky. You guys, and extreme southern Illinois perhaps as well. Again, those storms over southeast Missouri, those are the storms we have to watch as they push to the southeast. But Indiana, if you're watching from Indiana, and a good part of our, Illinois counties, pretty much can kind of wave the all clear flag, I think, at this point. I kind of hate to do that when, we're still under watch technically, but given the trends, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape here in most of the area with this event. So again, that is some good news.
And the good news is, by the way, also, even though it's blocked out for us, it actually has been sharing to the stream too. So everyone still is seeing everything. So that's
great.
Good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
so.
Great.
So everything that you showed was good.
Yep. Well, and again, thank you guys, of course, for tuning in and trusting us for your weather here in the tri-state. We really appreciate it. And I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up here.
Yep. Definitely got close to
Before we go, I just want to mention I just came off the Storm Prediction Center site, and we The moderate risk has been pushed down to where that tornado watch is in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. The enhanced risk has been pushed down also in the southern Kentucky, Tennessee border.
Okay.
And most of the tri-state is in a slight risk.
Okay, yeah, I was actually waiting. I figured they would really adjust that here soon. So I'm actually at the screen still sharing on my end. Let's quickly show you guys this. And no surprise, we mentioned this area right here would be most at risk. So we have far southeast still Missouri, I should say, northwest Tennessee, and that extreme southwest tip of Kentucky. But again, most of our area is under the slight risk still, and certainly going to be looking at the greater severe threat, off to our south and west. So really some good news here in our local area. So again, we kind of got spared here in most of our area.
All righty. Well, want to thank everyone for watching. Held on the ground earlier, then let Nathan take over. So it's been fun.
Yes, and I apologize for being so late here. I guess better than late than never, as they say.
Oh yeah, yeah. Luckily, when we got kind of spared.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, either way, it was kind of cool watching. It was pretty neat watching when that squall line was up in there and moving out of Missouri and Illinois and into West Kentucky.
Oh yeah, I was. I was looking at the radar off and on, and yeah, it was a pretty intense. I mean, really, in a sense, it panned out as but then in a sense, our area had certainly got spared from what could have been a much more significant event. And southeast Missouri is certainly getting hit pretty good there. So,
and anyway, I mean, I know when we were watching that, it was pretty crazy watching it clear 3 counties within that 1 hour, and 3 large counties at that.
Oh yeah, those things just when you get those strong winds, I mean, those things just are so quick moving, and yeah,
90 miles per hour was the speed on it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, those things just fly. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is 8 o'clock Central now, so probably a good time to move into the top of the hour here.
Yes, 8 o'clock Central now, 9 o'clock Eastern, and we will wrap this up here. And let's see here. See my screen still sharing. Yeah, okay. And I'll go ahead and I guess I have to hit stop broadcast there. So
yeah, I'll have to hit that.
Okay.
Everybody have a great evening, and stay tuned to Metro Weather Watch in case any other warnings come out, especially down over our Kentucky counties.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
And anything does happen, we'll likely, if we need to, we can jump back on live. More than likely, though, we'll probably just update the page to the condition.
For sure. Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. Just all depends. But more than likely, I think we'll be okay to probably update the page from here on out. We'll see.
I think so. Yeah.
Have a great evening.
Yes. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you for watching.